G'day guys, welcome to another episode of Western Tabletop. Today's episode's going to be a little bit different. Actually, I feel like whenever I host an episode, that's true. So we'll just get stuck into it. So the speed painting challenge was something that the West Oz miniature painters put up. And what it was is that you had 45 minutes of painting time to paint the base of one single bolt action miniature. It was a British rifleman that they put together from a couple of the infantry boxes. So you could have picked a rifleman, a guy wielding a pistol and pointing, a Piat equipped man, whatever took your fancy, it was available to you. So the miniature was provided, built and primed, zenithal primed, so you could see the highlights. You were given I think it was about 100 different paints to choose from and a couple of different size brushes. You were welcome to prepare your paints, your palettes, your brushes, water, etc. Everything you needed you could have prepared before you started painting. However, once you picked up that brush and got paint on it, that's when your timer started, and you had to put it down at 45 minutes. One of the WAMP, the West Oz miniature painters, one of those admins would referee that or arbitrate it and make sure that the start time was the actual start time, and they came up and counted down in your ear when you only had 10 seconds left. So we had a bit of an issue with some of the equipment over the weekend. We lost a little bit of Saturday's footage, so unfortunately my brief and a lot of Tyler's videos were missing. We basically lost the footage. So you're going to see placeholder footage. I'm going to reshoot the brief for myself, and Tyler's pulled a little sneaky on us as well. So you'll see that all together, and then we'll get stuck into the episode. You'll see the time lapse of what we've got, and towards the end of the video, you'll find our bolt action miniatures that we completed side by side. And if you want to see that, that's all going to be time-stamped in the timeline. I hope you enjoy the video.
So we're doing a painting challenge, and so you've got 45 minutes to paint one model. It's run by the guys over at West Oz Miniature Paintings, WAMP. At the moment Dan's doing his, and then the Gorcin and I are also going to do one. So you've got 45 minutes, and I am the world's slowest painter. So I have a secret weapon the other guys don't know about. I'll be editing this, so they won't even know until they see the video. I got my own makeup brush. Okay? So I'm just going to channel my inner Jacob and just dry brush the hell out of it. Get it done 5 seconds flat. And I've been practicing. So start with these boys, and then I moved on to these guys. So this is with the dry brush, and that took me like 5 seconds, which means I can get a color down ASAP. And after that, let's see how good I can get with the details in the remaining 40 minutes. I reckon I'll have them dry brushed and everything based in 5 minutes. Alright, Dan.
Hey buddy! So I'm going to do a 45-minute speed painting comp. I'm actually a notoriously slow painter, so this could end really badly with like only one coat of paint.
What's your strategy going into it?
Get 2 coats of paint on it. Any 2 colors. No, look, I've painted a fair few bold action minis, so I think largely I'll get my uniform detail down first, follow up by this flesh tone, then go on to packs. We'll see how much time I've got running after that. The biggest thing will be thin colors going down so they dry slightly faster, but also preserving detail. I deliberately chose someone with a really small gun so I don't have to waste too much time on metallics. And I've got a hat that looks sort of camouflaged, which I might try and do something a bit special with. Special means more than one color.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, good. 45 minutes.
Thank you, sir. That's fine. I was like, maybe I could dot in some paint somewhere, and I'm like, I'm actually pretty comfortable with where this has ended up. I mean, the uniform is always a touch tricky, so I did cheat using the zenithal and thin layers to get some shading. But that's how I painted my, essentially that same technique is how I painted my Soviets when I smashed them out.
Fantastic. That's good. Nice. Good job. Yeah. Down how to go.
Done. All right. Firstly, I apologise to the designers of the miniature for how roughly I treated theirs. No, look, I tried to stick to my plan, get the uniform done with the main colours, leverage the zenithal highlight they applied with the grey over the top with thin coats to try and bring out some shading. Moved on to the skin to get the first layer down so I could move on through that pretty quickly. Then I did Pax webbing and his head. I want to say I cheated a little bit with the ground to make it look like he's essentially on green dirt being jungle or something along those inspired spaces. Probably would normally do a dry brush over the top to pick up that detail. Didn't quite get to that specific space. The uniforms, probably a little bit rough, but they also gave me a brush that was the size of a hair, so just watch out for that one. That's part of the challenge. It was actually quite enjoyable. But it's come out okay. It's come out thin, it's come out clean and neat, which is the application that I was going for. I've got some natural shading that I leveraged. Chose to keep quite a reduced color palette as well so that I could merge and move through the colors really, really quickly and make the most of that time. But overall, I think it's come out quite good.
So this is the first bit of important footage that we lost. We did lose all of Tyler's footage for the speed painting challenge, but like I said, this is the first bit of important footage. So I'll just try my best to remember the paint brief as I gave it. My plan was to get all of the base colors down as quickly as possible, because it's not the base colors that make the model interesting. I was going to start with the base and get that done as quickly as possible, just because I know they can take some time to dry. I was also picked my palette of colors to hopefully all work with the same wash as much as possible, just so in that case, when I get to the washing stage, I don't want the two colors to bleed into each other and pull pigment. And then, the really important part of my painting process that I knew I was going to get right in 45 minutes was to get all of my colors in. Get them all on the palette, get them mixed, get my +1, my -1, or my shade up, my shade down, get that all sorted. When it came to the actual washing process of the miniature, my plan was to do an all-over wash. So I'd bring that mid-tone down a shade, and then that way I could come in with some nice wide layering of my mid-tone and bring that nice little bit of contrast. And if that all went really quickly, that would give me enough time to maybe go for another step of layering, or maybe go to an edge highlight depending on how much time I have. And it's just building that difference between my darkest color and my brightest color, getting them next to each other. That's the plan. Just get in there and just get it done, and really just focus on really nice wide layering, just to give it nice big flat glaring contrast, which I think will make it much nicer in the eye, and it's something you can do in 45 minutes.
Cool. Trying to make it fair by having the same. I'm sure Duncan's going to be very disappointed because I'm going with one thick coat, but we're on a time crunch here.
Oh, big stretch.
I think I managed to wet let the whole sunspot in the
Yeah,
helmet.
you have, mate. That's good. Oh, look, you got the eyes.
Got a little bit of wood grain on the
Yeah, mate. Mate's in trouble.
So I think overall I went pretty well. Will gave me the 2-minute timer and I just finished my second eye. So I think that was okay. Now true to form, one of the eyes was good and one of them was terrible. With 2 minutes left, I didn't bother. I didn't go back. I think one of the things that really ate into my time was that I did all of the base codes and then I started doing all of the washes at the same time, and I realized that wasn't going to work. I don't have time, not in 45 minutes. And when I did the first coat on the base, it was too thick. I needed a thinner coat, not just in terms of how much I apply, but also on paint consistency. If I got those two things right, I reckon I would have had that 2-minute timer for the eyes. Would have probably ended up being a 6 or 7, maybe an 8-minute timer, and that meant I could have not just done a round of layering, but also then maybe put in a few edge highlights and really just bring that contrast up. But overall, I think it was all right for a 45-minute go.
Thanks for checking out the video, guys. As you can see, our models are displayed out in front of you. If you can, try to pick a favorite. It's pretty hard for me, even with my bias, for me to actually pick which one of these three I like the most. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to let us know and subscribe to the channel to check out more content. We'll catch you in the next one.